you, we had like 35 cents between us, and we had a couple of ice picks. We ran away from home.
Welcome to This Could Go Anywhere, the podcast where a simple conversation can turn into a story, a tangent, or something nobody saw coming. My name is Mike, and every episode I sit down with friends, family, and sometimes strangers to see where the conversation goes. And with my ADHD brain behind the wheel, it could go anywhere. Today I'm talking with my dad about what it was like growing up as a kid. We get into memories of Duluth, Minnesota, riding bikes around the neighborhood, and one story about running away that didn't last very long. So yeah, this could go anywhere.
Ella and I were at Barnes & Noble before Christmas, and we were just looking at some books, and I saw this book just sitting there, and backtrack a little bit. I had been kind of trying to find a way to come up with some ideas for like a podcast that I could do to leave, I don't know, like a legacy or something for my kids.
Sure.
You know, so that when I'm gone, they still have clips of me talking or whatever. I actually have something on my phone, a voicemail from my Grandma Keller.
I just thought I'd wish you a Merry Christmas. So, okay, I love you. You take care. Bye-bye, sweetie.
Cool.
I transferred it to my computer, and I thought, well, this is great. I love every once in a while I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
But I have very few recordings of her. Right. And so I thought maybe it would be cool for my kids to have something like that. I mean, I've got audiobooks out there, but this is a little more personal and intimate, and I thought it would be fun. And then I ran into this book at Barnes & Noble called Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story. And I started looking through it, and I thought, well, maybe that would be a good idea for me to kind of go through these prompts, and it gives me something structured to share with my kids. And then I thought, well, why not see if you wanted to do it too, right? Like I thought it would be kind of fun.
We can try.
Yeah.
Because, I wish I had my parents' stories.
Yeah.
And my grandparents' stories. I remember little bits of my grandma telling me stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I have little tidbits too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We kind of live in a world where we don't pass those stories down like they used to.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun. And I figure, today we'll go through a handful of questions, and you can answer and I can answer some of them. And I actually started going through these, and I thought, well, shit, I don't know the answer to this, but maybe you would know the answer to my questions.
So after talking about why I wanted to record these conversations, we moved on and started talking about some of my dad's earliest memories growing up.
Do you have any favorite childhood memories?
Yeah, some of my favorite childhood memories were we lived in Omaha, and most years, a lot of years, I remember going up to Duluth for Christmas, for going up to my aunt and uncle's, and I'd stay over at Grandma X.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always a big deal at Christmas up there. Grandma had this big window in the front of the house, and she always had a big, huge tree, and there was always loaded with presents. We'd go over to Auntie Myrno's, who was Maryland, but everybody called her Myrno.
Sure.
And we'd go over there, presents, and you were always guaranteed a white Christmas. I remember one year, I think Oreen got a toboggan, and we went out to some hill somewhere, and we were riding the toboggan, and God, that was fun.
It's funny because some of my favorite childhood memories are also Duluth. Going up, I still have some great memories of going to Grandma X's house and sitting out front and looking down and watching the ships come in on the what did she call the like the Davenport?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a couch out on the porch or something that we would sit on? And little tiny things. It's amazing. Eating raspberries
Oh, yeah.
up there.
She had raspberries in her backyard, and right up the hill on Voss Avenue at the dead end, there was wild raspberries.
Yeah.
And if there weren't any ripe at hers or if we'd picked them already, we'd go up there and pick. And, oh, man, fresh raspberries were great.
And of course, like most kids, not all of his childhood adventures were quite so peaceful.
Do you remember who your best friends were in elementary school?
Yeah. Across the street from me was Tim Carroll. He was from Iowa. He'd moved to Omaha. We hung out and did a lot of stuff. He had several brothers. I remember spending the night at his place. We'd have sleepovers, and it was always hard to sleep there because his brothers were older. They'd always play music real late, and it was hard to get to sleep.
Okay.
But, yeah, he and I got in trouble because we ran away from home. He wanted to run away from home, and I said, well, I'll go with you. We had like 35 cents between us, and we had a couple of ice picks.
Okay.
And so we took off. We went down the hill behind our house out to 102nd, and then I don't remember where we went, but we ended up very near. Remember, we were getting close to Boys Town, and
Well, if you're going to run away from home, the best
Yeah.
place to go is Boys Town,
well,
I
then
guess.
it started raining, so we turned around, and then it started pouring. And some lady saw us and ushered us into her house, and called our parents. Mom came and got me. She said she got the phone call about just as she was getting ready to call the police. And so, yeah, I got in a world of trouble for that.
And of course, like most kids growing up back then, a lot of those memories revolved around bikes.
What's one thing you miss about being a kid?
Being able to go outside and play and ride bikes. We would take off on our bikes. My dad got me Mom and Dad got me a Sears. I wanted a Schwinn Stingray because everybody was getting them. Well, they got me a Sears brand, which I thought, yeah, big deal. But once I started riding it, I liked it. It was cool. It was all chrome.
Oh, nice.
It had the banana seat with flames. It was white with flames on it.
Yeah.
It had a backrest. It had 3-speed that was you shift on the handlebar like a motorcycle. And that was just the coolest bike. It never did anything like wheelies or anything because I was heavy. So you'd think I would have gotten skinny as much bike riding as we did.
Sure.
But we'd take off on the bikes. There was still a lot of construction down below our neighborhood. Towards 90th and Maple, and there was a lot of dirt paths that you could ride on.
Sure. That was
We
like
just-
West Omaha at that point, right?
Yeah, that was we were the edge of Omaha. The next housing addition was 102nd. It was all empty between us. Doing that, also when our house was a split level, there was a little hill right to the side of the house that went down to the backyard because it was split level walkout basement. And then there was, I don't know how big of a drop off it was down to the next neighborhood that wasn't there yet. They had a oval street down there. They had it planned out. So they had a road. So we'd go down, ride that thing all the time. But in the wintertime, you could slide down from the top of our hill on our house, slide down, get all the way there, and then hit that drop off down. And it was a pretty good drop off, like maybe 3 stories, at least to us when we were kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That was great.
I think it's very funny that you bring up wanting to go outside and play and ride your bike because now you're retired.
Yeah.
And you literally, when it's nice,
I go outside
you
and ride
go
my
outside
trike.
and ride your trike.
My tricycle.
Right.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's great.
And that was my first conversation with my dad about this. Honestly, we barely scratched the surface. There are a lot more stories to come. I can't wait to share them with you. They go anywhere. So if you enjoyed it, come back. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.